Tomato's state of security in the country.
24 hours. Nataka nichukue nafasi hii kuwashukuru sana. Asanteni sana. Kama mlivyosikia tunajaribu, lakini kazi ni mingi. These officers you see here are the ones who have helped me write the story. If anything good has happened, it is these officers plus thousands of other officers who are not here. They are the ones who have written the story. Mine is to read the story. So I thank the PSs, very hard-working PSs, principal administrative secretaries, senior officers, the leadership of the National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service, doing a wonderful job. And I want to promise the people of Kenya, we'll make Kenya a safe country. And once Kenya becomes a safe country, the economic struggles we are having, the bottlenecks in unleashing our country's potential to make it an inclusive and prosperous society for all will be possible once we unlock the security matters. I'll take only one question. Because I have spoken for long, 2 questions. Because my colleagues here have also stood for a very long time. Afadhali mimi nilikuwa naongea. Yes, go in. I'll take 3 questions.
Good evening, Wazir.
Yes.
As you said, I'm Chemutai Goin from Citizen TV. I have 2 brief questions. You have addressed the issue of cultural extremism. And one of the issues that we've seen and had utterances made by yourself as the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, is that there are certain individuals that are fanning the resurgence of the outlawed Mungiki sect. And one of the persons mentioned is the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. First, have there been links that you've identified as the people in charge of the country's security of his involvement in the sort of resurgence of Mungiki, and what evidence or what are you doing about this? And 2, still on that bit of cultural extremism and possibly actually political, there was a raid at the Northlands property that is associated with the family of the former president. Have investigations into what transpired there commenced? What evidence do you have, or what is the status of investigations? Have arrests been made? Thank you.
Shall I answer those ones first? It will take 1 minute to answer them. The first one is whether there is any evidence leading the former president to crime. I cannot comment on that. I'll respond by saying as follows: that any person who is involved in encouraging crime, doesn't matter their rank in society, they have a date with me and my officers. On the second one of the attack on Northlands, what happened in Northlands? It's a serious crime. And I want to report, yes, we have undertaken investigations and we will be arraigning some suspects very soon. It has taken a bit of time because of the politicization around it. And I have said to you, dear Kenyans, we don't want to politicize national security. Any person who is involved in crime, it doesn't matter their political affiliation. Some of the people, political leaders who have been funding the violent attacks on property and police officers in Kericho and Bomet are Kenya Kwanza of politicians, and they'll have to be arrested. You know, once we conclude investigation, we'll arrest them. So let's not politicize this thing. But I don't think it is in my space to comment about the former president of Kenya. Yes. Si musaidie huyo. Any of you, both of you, any of you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Bwana Waziri. I'm Lawrence Nyando from Radio Omini. You've talked about the issue of guns to do with the people, especially the bandits. Will you mind to tell us, since February 6th, when you last briefed us, has the ministry found out the loopholes that these people, especially the bandits and other Kenyans, acquire illegal firearms? And if they have found out the loopholes, what steps are they taking so that we can be able to curb the ownership of illegal firearms in the country, because it's also a very big threat in the society of Kenya? Secondly, when you talk about the issue that has happened in Wajir and also Hispania, you talk that the citizens had justified grievances. So do you take it, can we take it maybe as the police officers or maybe the security agents in that area, they failed in their service delivery, that's why the citizens took the mandate to attack the police station and do that?
Let me answer those two. Yes, we have made a lot of progress in terms of finding where illicit arms have been sourced from and where they have been going. It's not in my place to say what steps we have taken. I just want to promise results. First, we are going to mop out all the illegal arms in that region. And we are going to have a huge ceremony here in Nairobi where we'll destroy all those arms. Many arms, because they are there. And there's a reason why we are taking time before we start visiting every home and recovering those arms for strategic reasons. So allow me to leave it at that. With regard to Isebani, part of the problem is a problem caused by public officials, including police officers and other agencies. It's a complicated matter because that is a border town. We have had incidents there, even beyond the current incident that triggered the riots last week. There were other cases of crime, murder, extortion, trafficking in narcotics around that area, and ethanol illegally entering the country around that area. And part of the problem of that breakdown in service delivery is by public officials. The government, therefore, as I've said earlier, will remove all the officers there, and as we transport them out of Isebania, we may not be taking them to news stations for the reasons which I said earlier. Because taking them to news stations is transferring a problem to another part of the country which equally deserves good services. So I agree. And it's not just police officers, even customs officers, immigration officers. And you know, for the people to be angry enough to attack a security facility, definitely there must have been grievances. But on the other hand, that is not the way to resolve grievances. Nobody in Kenya should ever dream or think ever again of attacking a police station or a security facility. Maybe two more? We can't stay here forever.
Asante Bwana Waziri. Jina langu ni Kimani Ngunjiri kutoka Kameme TV. Na ningependa kuuliza swali kutokana na lile jambo ambalo umelizungumzia linahusiana na masuala ya maandamano ambayo yamekuwa yakifanyika hapa nchini, na hasa miezi kadhaa ambayo tumeshuhudia maandamano ya upinzani, na kuna vifo ambavyo vilitokea wakati ule ambavyo maafisa walitajwa. Kuna baadhi ya maafisa ambao walihusishwa na vile vifo. Sijui kama waziri wa usalama wa ndani umefanya nini ili kuhakikisha ya kwamba wale ambao walitajwa wamewajibika?
Naomba niseme hivi. All those officers who were mentioned in terms of misusing firearms or excessive use of force have been investigated, and the reports have been made to the prosecuting authorities. A few are still outstanding. Some of the investigations were done by our internal affairs unit, the National Police Service. Others are being undertaken by the oversight agency of the National Police Service, which is the Independent Police Oversight Authority, on all the issues where these matters have arisen, including Isebania. So some are ongoing. And the government policy is that any police officer or any security officer who misuses their firearms outside the law is on their own. And it is them and the law. And we will not interfere either with the work of IPOA, with the work of other investigative agencies, where there are clear circumstances of misuse of firearms or unlawful use of firearms in demonstrations or in other circumstances. But at the same time, the government of Kenya will protect and stand behind every security officer who uses their firearms within the Constitution and the law to defend life in the manner in which the Constitution, the law, and the standing orders of the National Police Service permit. And that's why, at the risk of repeating myself, any Kenyan who think they can attack a police station and attack an armory are mistaken. And all the leaders who are facilitating Kenyans to run down our country and take it through a slippery path of lawlessness will arrest you, will charge you, whether you are in Kenya Kwanza or Azimio or you have no party.
Thank you. It's a real fight here. My name is Brian Mushiri from NTV. First question, the issue on Dadaab. Yesterday, we reported about 1,200 cases of cholera in Dadaab. Is the ministry aware of this? Are you in conversations with the Ministry of Health? And then the long-run discussion about Dadaab, what's going to be the end story in Dadaab under this administration? Then the issue on Shakahola, the commissioner inquiry. We saw the court regard it unconstitutional. You've mentioned it in your statement. Maybe will you go ahead to appeal? What is the situation and position on that? Thank you.
Very quickly, and that should be the last question. We've had challenges with an outbreak of contagious diseases and communicable diseases in Dadaab. And we are working very hard to make sure that that situation is contained. With regard to long-term solutions to the refugee matter, encampment, and all the issues around it, I'll reserve that to the pronouncements that we will make on 20th of June, which is the World Refugee Day. Some will be made on that day, but going forward, we have decided as a country, we must face the challenge of long-term refugees in our country, foreign nationals who have found refuge in this country under international law and the hospitality of the people of Kenya. And they have lived for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. We must find a way of handling that situation because we cannot have refugees for a century. One way or the other, we will be making very bold policy decisions, and those ones will be announced on 20th June. Finally, on the commission of inquiry, that matter is before court. I cannot comment about it, but the government stands with every action taken. The action taken, including the establishment of the commission of inquiry, was taken within the law and in the national interest. Thank you. Kwaherini, mbarikiwe. Became longer than I thought.